And I'm live. Hi guys. Yeah, welcome to my channel. This is the first live stream I have done for a little while. I don't know. I did last week's from Warwick Castle, which was just the show, just the War of the Roses. Hi Rob. I did last week's, which was just War of the Roses live. This week it's a DLP chat. Because I think we have something pretty major to talk about. Something pretty stupid, pretty anger-inducing, and something that I hope Chapek does not include in America as well. I hope he never introduces it in the American parks, just like he's done in Paris, because we all know it's down to him ultimately. So, Premier Access. Hi Jay. Everyone, by the way, go subscribe to Velociboy. That's my son. Jay, he started his own channel. He's only got a few videos there at the moment. So yeah, just go check out Jay's channel, Velociboy. Yeah, he'll have new videos coming soon, don't worry. Right. Premier Access. I like to call it the begin of the Chapek effect. So Disneyland Paris used to have like the old fast pass system where you would go to the booth, you would scan your ticket or your annual pass, and you'd get a paper ticket. Good old fashioned fast pass, and it worked well. The only ride that really needed it but didn't have it was Crush. Crush needs something. It really needs something, because there's no way you're getting on it unless you wait over 80 minutes, sometimes anything up to 2 or so hours waiting for that ride. I've seen it at a 3-hour wait before, not doing it, not having it. Whack a fast pass on that thing. So basically, obviously the shutdown happened. Fast Pass didn't return when it reopened. We all thought, well, when's Fast Pass coming back? When's it coming back? And then it was announced that it wasn't coming back. Instead, it was being replaced by something else. But the first announcement we had was something called Standby Pass. And they made this Standby Pass sound like a Fast Pass. You tap in on the app, you tap which ride you'd like, and it gives you a time that you can go back. And the way it was advertised at first was that you go back at that time and you can ride the ride. Okay, right, but it's not that. Standby Pass we soon found out that was not what Standby Pass meant when they announced Premier Access. Now, Premier Access is the Fast Pass system, but you have to pay per ride. And when they first announced it, they announced that it would be €8 per ride. And then it soon became very clear that the Standby Pass was literally, and Crush is included in the Standby Pass. So when Standby Pass was first announced, it was like, oh cool, we're going to get to actually go on Crush and not have to queue 2-3 hours to get on it. No. Standby Pass basically gives you a time that you're allowed to go and get in the queue. It is, Rob. I'm getting to that. It's really, that's so, and it is per person, yet it's so annoying. So Standby Pass, Crush is included on Standby Pass, but it became very clear that with the announcement of Premier Access, it became clear that Standby Pass means that, and they also gave more clarity on this, that Standby Pass gives you a time that you're allowed to go and get into the queue. So yesterday on Standby Pass, Crush Coaster it had, even with standby pass, an 80-minute queue. So basically you're given a time that you can go and join an 80-minute queue. So you're not skipping the line at all. So yeah, imagine what it's going to be like when the park goes back up to full capacity. It's just going to be crazy. If it was on 80 minutes when it was at, what capacity is it at? It's quite a low capacity at the moment. But yeah, just that's when it's full capacity, that's going to be packed and not accessible at all. They have single rider line at Crush, but the single rider line is often just as long as the normal line. But Premier Access came along. Crush was not included in Premier Access. Get this right. Crush Coaster is next to Flying Carpets over Agrabah. Once upon a time, Flying Carpets over Agrabah had Fast Pass. Crush doesn't. Makes no sense. But no, Premier Access came along. They announced that it would be €8 per person per ride. And the rides included would be Ratatouille and Tower of Terror over in the studios. In the main park, in Disneyland Park, it would be Star Tours, Hyperspace Mountain, Peter Pan's Flight, Big Thunder Mountain, I think Indiana Jones and the Temple of Peril. I am not entirely sure. Autopia, Buzz Lightyear Laser Blast, basically all the rides in Discoveryland, except the Orbitron, which still is not there. It's literally not there. Yeah, so yesterday when they started Premier Access in Disneyland Park, we got a first glimpse of what the pricing is going to be, and up until then we were under the understanding that it was going to be €8 per person per ride, which is bad enough because if you've got a family of 4, that's £32 or pounds, €32 to ride one ride when you've already paid your entry fee. And then this Premier Access came up yesterday and they showed us the pricing. €15 per person to ride Buzz Lightyear Laser Blast. That's almost double what they said it was going to cost. No, Rob, there are no free fast passes at all. They have done away with the free fast pass system. Disneyland Paris is American owned. It's owned by Disney. It's ran by Disney. Everything, the same management that run the 2 American parks run Disneyland Paris. So my guess is that this is what's coming to you guys over in the States, which so yeah, I'm trying to remember what the pricing was for the other ones. Star Wars Hyperspace Mountain, I believe, was €12. I'm not entirely sure. Would one fee make sense? See, Rob, in this country, in the UK, when I worked at Alton Towers, we did have a form of queue skipping, like queue jumps and fast passes, but you paid for them. But you didn't pay per ride. There was different tiers. So, like, you could have 4 rides for X amount, or 8 rides for X amount, every ride for X amount. And once you've been on it, that would be stamped to say that you've been on that ride, you've done it. You've used your pass for it. We don't have magic bands or anything like that over in Paris, Rob. We are literally on I can't get it off the wall. But yeah, the cards. So you'd be scanning your card. So yeah, say you've got a family of 4 to ride Buzz Lightyear Laser Blast. That's going to cost you that's going to cost you €60. No, Jay, I'm talking about Disneyland Paris. Jay, we don't have magic bands. Jay, I was talking about Disneyland Paris not having magic bands. In the UK, we don't have magic bands because we don't have a Disney, which we really should. Before that, when I was on about Alton Towers, I did mention that's in the UK. Jay, just a side note, I took you on Rita at Alton Towers when I was pregnant with you. Surprise, you went on a roller coaster before you were born. So yeah, so Premier Access is not cheap. It's not financially viable for many people, if anyone, especially in the summer and school holidays when it's going to get, I say busy, but let's face it, Disneyland Paris's version of busy is like Magic Kingdom on a quiet day. So like Pirates of the Caribbean, like in Paris, it's got this great big outdoor queue line. I've only ever seen it full once. Usually that ride is like a 10 minutes, it's a walk on. I've never known, I've never had to wait for it, it's a walk on. As are most rides at Disneyland Paris. But yeah, Peter Pan's flight, €15. Tower of Terror, €15. I think Autopia was €9. Either Utopia or Star Tours was €9. Autopia might be the €8. Big Thunder Mountain, I think, was €12. Could be mistaken. I could have got these prices completely wrong. I don't have the information in front of me. Tower of Terror, Ratatouille is €12 and Tower of Terror is €15. So again, if you've got a family of 4, that's €60. And to put that into perspective for you, euros, when you transfer from pounds, euros are the same as dollars. There's like a minuscule difference in it, but they're pretty much along the same prices, pretty much the same to the pound as the dollar is. Which is why when I see like the same ears for sale in Paris that are on sale in Orlando, and the ears are like €20 cheaper, then well, they would be $20 cheaper because it's the same. So they're $20 cheaper in Paris than they are in Orlando, and that's including VAT. But yeah, so we now have to, if we want to not queue for a ride, we have to pay a stupid amount of money. I have a feeling this isn't going to last. I have a feeling what they will do is knock this on the head and knock the entire queue jump system on the head. So it just goes back to the times before Fast Pass when you went to Disney and you spent the entire day in a queue. Because everybody wants to do that at a theme park. I hated those days. I really, really hated times before Fast Pass. Like, I remember going to Disney World when it was 1999, so it was before Fast Pass, and I remember going to Disney World and we were in a queue for Splash Mountain for like 4 hours, and there was nothing to do in that queue. It was boring. I was ready to go home. So Fast Pass just knocked that on the head, and it was a godsend. I'm not very good in queues. I can't queue for very long. I get very anxious, very easily worked up in a queue. So, needless to say, my next trip to Paris, if I ever do decide, like, I have done it before. I have done every ride in one day before. But that was Autopia was closed and Crush Coaster was closed, and the Studio Tram Tour kept breaking down. So if I redo that challenge with all the rides open, that's going to cost me a lot of money on that day. So I'm now seriously questioning whether I should do it or not. I mean, Ratatouille has a single rider line. When I go with Jay, will we do Ratatouille will we queue up or will we get Fast Pass? I honestly can't say anymore. I would have gotten a Fast Pass. Will I get Premier Access? I don't know, because that's going to cost me €24 for me and Jay to get on one ride. And to me, it just doesn't feel. That doesn't feel very Disney. Does that make sense? Doesn't feel very Disney. It just feels very British. It feels like Alton Towers. I don't go to Disney to feel like I'm at Alton Towers. If I wanted to feel like I was at Alton Towers, I'd go to Alton Towers. But yeah, I'm calling this the Chapek effect. It is really sad, Rob. It is. And it's like, I cannot believe that these are the prices that they've come up with. I think this is awful. I mean, will I pay it? I will pay it if I am. I'll pay it on my own. If I'm on my own, I will pay it for anything that hasn't got single rider. If I'm doing the only if I'm doing like an every ride in one day challenge, and depending on the time of day. What I would now do, and this is including when I go with Jay, is we'll get to the park. Rip-off effect, more like Chapek is the rip-off. Bob Chapek is the one responsible for this, so we're calling this the Chapek effect. He's known to be like this. He is. Bob Chapek is the rip-off. He's a walking rip-off. So when I next take Jay, we'll get to the park ready for opening, for like early access, because if you're staying in one of the hotels or you're an annual pass holder, you get in you can do the early morning magic, the extra magic hour in the morning. So I'll be taking Jay. We'll get there for about. They open the gates at 8:00, so we'll get there for them. And then we'll as soon as they open, do rope drop for the rides. We'll go to. The thing is, at the studios. Hi, Miriam. The thing is, at the studios, the line for Crush starts in the hub area outside of the parks. So once you've gone through security, when you branch off to the left to go to the studios, I can guarantee you 100% that every single one of those people is waiting for Crush. And you'll go through the turnstiles. Actually, we don't have turnstiles in Paris anymore. It's gates. So you go through the gates, and I can 100% guarantee you everyone just goes off to Crush. So and that's before rope drop. So before rope drop, you've got a queue half a mile long for Crush Coaster, and then rope drop happens, and sure enough, they all go into Crush Coaster, and within 30 seconds the queue for Crush Coaster is almost an hour long. That's how early you have to be there to get on Crush if you don't want to queue. Which I think is awful, which is like, I know they have a single riders line, but that's often just as busy. So what I would like to see is that single rider line completely done away with. If they were to put Crush Coaster on the Premier Pass, I would do that one. Just to say I did Crush. Because I think any visit to Disneyland Paris, if you manage to get on Crush without waiting 2 hours for it, I think that's an accomplishment. The same with Peter Pan's Flight. If you manage to get on that without waiting 2 hours for it, it's an accomplishment. It's like when I was there, just like the day before they shut down because of COVID, Peter Pan's Flight was at a 5-minute wait. So I was like, I'm going on. But yeah, would I pay it for Tower of Terror? No. Oh, by the way, I had something in the wall there and it's come off. Oh. Okay, that's strange. Right, so would I pay it for Tower of Terror? No. And also, Disney had announced that our Tower of Terror has a different character and different scenario every single time you go on it. But everybody was always saying, oh, I've only had the little girl, I've only had the little girl. If you watch Behind the Attraction on Disney Plus, it becomes very apparent that the only scenario is the little girl. So you don't get a different scenario every single time, you just get the little girl. Hi guys, sorry I am late but working. That's okay, Kay. It didn't go to a 64-minute wait, Jay. It went up to an 85-minute wait. So yeah, it said 5-minute wait, and this was first thing in the morning as well. It said 5-minute wait, so we hopped in line. We were like, wow, we're getting in. And it went up to an 85-minute wait. It's like, as soon as we were walking through the queue, I was like, no, I know what a 5-minute wait on here is. It's not 5 minutes. It's not 5 minutes. And check the app. The app said 35 minutes. I was like, this is not even 35 minutes. Got back out of, turned around, went back out of the queue line. Sure enough, at the top it said 85-minute waits. Like, nah, not doing it. Thanks, Rob. If you could just everyone hit that like button, I'd really appreciate it. And thank you everyone for joining me as I have this mad rant about Premier Access, which I think is ridiculous and stupid. Would I do it for Jungle Cruise? If we had a Jungle Cruise, yes, I would. And that would be the only one, I think. I'm trying to think. Would I do it for Hyperspace Mountain? No, there's a single rider. I can get on that. No problem. Actually, there was one time I would do it for Hyperspace Mountain, and that's only if it's in the middle of the day. I'll probably just do Hyperspace Mountain because I want to get in the front row so that I can film Hyperspace Mountain. What I'll do is I'll just go first thing in the morning. Done. Would I do it for Star Tours? No. Would I do it for Autopia? Certainly not. I'm not paying some 9 or 10 euros. Phantom Manor doesn't have it, Jay. It doesn't need it, but it doesn't have it. And if it ever did have it, no, I wouldn't. Would I do it for Big Thunder Mountain? No. Would I do it for Indiana Jones? No. Would I do it for Ratatouille? Definitely not. That ride is not worth it. Would I do it for... I'm trying to think what else. I've said Tower of Terror. I've said Ratatouille. See, another ride I think could use something is RC Racer. I really think that could do with something. But I think this has just been a massive letdown. Like standby pass sounded so amazing. It was like, oh my god, this is brilliant. This is what we've been waiting for. No, it's really not. You're just getting a time that you can go and stand in the queue. And we are making progress with the app. Let's face it, we are making progress. We're not quite there yet. I think. Do we have mobile ordering yet? I think we do for some places. I'm not entirely sure. I've probably mistaken that for somewhere else. But yeah, I wouldn't do it. Would I do it for Buzz Lightyear? No, because 9 times out of 10 Buzz Lightyears are only a 15-minute to 20-minute wait anyway. This is what I'm getting at. Our rides that are a 15-20-minute wait maximum. Okay, so they do get busier on the busy days, but there's rides that I think the Premier Access is really outrageous. It goes completely beyond the idea of a park for everyone. I'm thinking, yeah, it is outrageous. It's awful. These prices are just, like I was saying earlier, Miriam, when they first announced Standby Pass, it sounded like that was what we were going to get. Like, oh, wow, cool. Then Premier Access was announced. It was like, oh, wait, so Standby Pass actually means that that's when you can go and join the queue. And Premier Access, you have to pay for it. It's the fast passes, but now you have to pay. See, another thing with the fast pass system in Paris is that if you stayed at club level at the hotels, depending on which hotel you're at club level with, depending on how many fast passes, like you'd get a free fast pass. Like if you stayed in the Compass Club, you get a free fast pass. Do we still get that? Do we still get well, fast passes were free anyway, so I never understood that perk anyway. But I guess it was like a fast pass you could use on any ride at any time. That's what they meant by a free fast pass. You could use it on any ride, anytime, go for it. Are we going to get that with Premier Access? I honestly don't think we are, because I'm due to stay in Compass Club, and when they ran through all the things that I would get, that wasn't included. So when they talked me through all the things I was going to get at my stay in Compass Club, that never came up. Yes, the free snacks inside the hotel room came up. There's obviously free breakfasts and like teas and like stuff in the lounge. So free food in the lounge included in Compass Club. But there's also and on top of that, there are drinks and snacks included in your hotel room. There'll be drinks and snacks in your hotel room. Complimentary drinks and snacks in your hotel room, and there'll be the complimentary breakfast and the complimentary snacks and stuff in the lounge. There was no mention of the fast pass, which you used to be able to get when you stayed at Compass Club. So I honestly don't think that's included anymore. I don't think you're going to get a pass on Premier Access. It's all day, I kid you not, all I've had in my head. You know when the Agatha All Along song came out on One Division and someone changed it to Chapek All Along? That's what I've had in my head all day. As soon as I saw the pricings, I was like, my head's just been going, it was Chapek all along. Hate him. I hate what he's doing to it. Someone bring Bob Iger back. I think it's making, like Miriam has said, I think this is making the Disney parks less accessible to people. They are basically, like Chapek is making it very clear that, in his opinion, Disney is for the rich peoples. Hi, Chris. I can't believe there's 8 people. That's insane. Never had 8 people before. So yeah, I mean, so we now, what's your Rob, Chris, you guys are in the States. If you guys were to suddenly be told that standby pass was coming in, and that it's basically you would get a time, then that's your time to go, and then all of a sudden you're being told Premier Access is coming in, that standby pass is actually giving you a time that you can go and join the queue, that you actually have to pay for your fast passes now. What would you guys do? Would you guys say, like, I'm trying to think of what the fast pass right would you consider paying for any of the rides at Disneyland, Walt Disney World or Disneyland? Like, do you guys think there's anything that's worth it? For a family of 4, it's not happening. Period. That's where I stand, Rob. It's ridiculous. Like, just going with Jay. Like, I'm due to go with both Jay and my mother. So for 3 of us, if we wanted to do Buzz Lightyear during the day, that's going to be €45. That money could be well spent elsewhere. As far as I'm concerned, that money could be spent on merchandise, that money could be spent on food, that money could be spent... It wouldn't be spent on photos because my photos are included with the annual pass. It could be spent... It could actually be spent on Panorama Magique, the balloon ride. The balloon ride is, I think, €12. There you go. That's a good comparison. So you guys have characters in flight in the States. You have characters in flight. I'm not sure how much that costs at Disney Springs, but the one in Disneyland Paris is €12. From when I was last there, it was €12. I can go on that. A family of 4 can go on that, have an amazing time up there, seeing everything, seeing Avengers Campus being built, seeing Frozen Land being built, like the extension of the studios, an amazing view of all of that, seeing the Eiffel Tower. You can see the Eiffel Tower from up there. Just, the views are second to none. So Jay, guess what, you're going on it. Or you can go on Autopia. I know what I'd rather go on. I'd rather go on the balloon. Nope, not paying for the big park ticket and then paying to get a fast pass. Exactly. I think I have a feeling that Disneyland Paris is like this scapegoat here. This Disneyland Paris is the guinea pig to see if this sort of thing will work, or if the queues will just become colossal again. And I think what we're going to see is the queues become colossal again. I don't think people are going to pay for this. I know a lot of Brits will not pay for it. Jay, you're going on the balloon. I don't think Brits will pay for it. I know that in the theme parks over here, people do pay, but it was nowhere near like maybe when I worked there at Alton Towers, 1, maybe 2 families a day that had paid for a fast pass for the ride that I worked Charlie in the Chocolate Factory, the ride, and Hex, Driving School, all those ones, and of those, it was Charlie and the Chocolate Factory that they could queue jump on. That was the one that had the fast pass system, and 1 or 2 families a day would come down with the fast pass system. So I don't think people are going to pay for this. I think the queues are just going to get so colossal again. I think what happens on a daily basis already with Crush is going to happen on every other ride. I think the only way to get on these rides is going to be to get there at stupid o'clock in the morning and just make a mad dash before the general public come in. Which, when I did my every ride in one day, I did do the majority of them before park opening. The only ones I didn't do before park opening were the Studios and Peter Pan's Flight. I did everything else in the Disneyland. Oh, and Casey Jr. and the boat ride, because they don't open till 10 a.m. Everything else I did before people came in. But as soon as they came up as open on the app, that was it. I was going in. I did Hyperspace Mountain like 4 or 5 times before the park was open to the public. So my advice is don't buy these Premier Access. Let it fall flat on its backside. And hopefully Chapek will go, you know what, it's not working, let's just call it quits and let's not do it in America. I think this is one of the biggest mistakes Disney have ever made. Sorry, I was just reading a message that's come through. It's not for me. So, what thing's slow as heck, Jay? The balloon? Wait for Jay to answer, wait for Jay to answer, wait for Jay to answer, wait for Jay to answer. Jay, you gonna answer? Jay, you gonna answer? See, yeah, if it was one price. Yes, the balloon is slow as heck, but it's very high up. But you're going on it. At least you don't have to climb 500 steps to get up there for a decent view. Sorry, Jay knows what I'm on about with that. It baffles me that we are coming out of a global economic issues due to the pandemic, and Disney thinks now is the right time to start charging its customers more. Yeah. And this isn't, like I said, this isn't a Disneyland Paris thing. This is a Disney as a whole. This is Disney parks. The 3 Disney parks that are ran by Disney are Disneyland, Walt Disney World, and Disneyland Paris. All 3 of those are American owned, ran by Disney, owned by Disney, ran by Disney. The Asian parks are run by the countries that they're in. Disney actually have they don't own them, they just sort of lease them out. That they have no say. I'm not entirely sure what the technical term is, but yeah, Disney don't own them. They don't own them, they don't run them. They're just Disney parks in different countries, and those countries run them. But Disneyland, Disney World, and Disneyland Paris are owned and ran by Disney. The American teams at the core of all 3 of those. So what happens at one of them will usually happen at the other 2. So I honestly think that this is what's going to happen. I think Orlando will be the next place to see this happen. No, actually, I don't. I think Disneyland will be the next place for this to happen. When it comes to Disney World, I think they will trial it in, I think, the studios first. I honestly think it'll be in Hollywood Studios that they'll try it first. And the ones that will be included on it will be Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, Tower of Terror, Rock and Roller Coaster, Star Tours, Midway Mania, Aliens, Slinky Dog. I think those are the ones that they're going to trial it in the studios, because the studios has got the most new rides. That, or what they will do is try it in Epcot when Guardians opens. I have a horrible feeling that this system will replace boarding groups for Rise of the Resistance. I just doesn't the whole thing doesn't fill me with a lot of confidence. It really doesn't. Like this is a foreshadowing of things to come in the States. So just you guys just watch. Keep your eyes on what's happening in Paris, because what's happening in Paris now is going to be a very big clue as to what's going to happen in the States. And the queues in Paris are nowhere near as long as they are in the States, except for Crush and Peter Pan's Flight. Other than those two, the queues are nowhere near as long as the States, and I can just see this happening in the States. I really can. One thing's for certain, if it does happen in the States, I wouldn't fly. I think it was a 5,000-mile flight because of the flight path. I would not fly 5,000 miles at a cost of like just one trip. Like when I took Jay to Orlando, that was expensive enough. But if I was to go in the school holidays, like because we're not allowed to pull our kids out of school over here, I had special permission for Jay, because of my job, I had special permission. But because he's now entering his GCSE, his huge exam years, I would not pull him out. So to take him in a school holiday is going to cost, at a value resort, around about £10,000. So I'm sorry, I'm not going to pay £10,000, which is, I think, probably around about $15,000, maybe more, maybe a bit less. But yeah, I'm not going to pay that much to take my son across the Atlantic, get into Disney, get into the Magic Kingdom, into the studios, just to find out I have to pay per ride, per person to get on them. It's not happening. It's not happening. I think mind you, that wouldn't work in Paris either. I was about to say, I think what Paris should do is like the after hours or the early morning stuff. Like we did the early morning Toy Story Land one. It was insane. We did Slinky Dosh. Oh dear, Dosh is actually slang, British slang for money. Don't worry, Jay. But I don't want to take my kid halfway around the world, £10,000. I don't want to pay £10,000 to get to a Disney park just to find out that to ride on Slinky Dog Dash I have to pay $20 per person. No, when we did that early morning thing, we did Slinky Dog Dash like 4 or 5 times in a row. We just kept going around. Slinky Dosh. That's what I'm gonna say every single time I get my card out now, Jay. I'm gonna pay for it with Slinky Dosh. Apple Pay out. Slinky Dosh. Turn my card into a Slinky. But no, I don't want to, because I know that for people to hang on, that was a great point, because WW gets a lot of European guests, and I don't think that people have thought how that would impact those. Exactly. So Walt Disney World is not a cheap place to visit if you're not from the States. And it's not necessarily the hotel or the park tickets that does it. It's the flights, because a lot of the budget airlines and a lot of the cheap flights, they've all gone under because of the coronavirus, or they've gone under anyway. But it's not cheap. Like, I looked at package deals on Disney World's website to be able to bring Jay for 6 nights, and I looked up for February 2022. This was just as a what sort of prices am I looking at if I take him in the school holidays in February 2022, which for most people is the week of Valentine's Day, but for Jay it's the week after Valentine's Day. So I was like, wait, that's when we're going to Disneyland Paris. I was like, well, how much would it cost to go to Disney World if we were in Disney World at that point? And it was something like £8,000, £9,000 for 6 nights. And if I went for a connecting flight, I can't do connecting flights. If we did a connecting flight, it was less. It was like £5,000, but that's for 6 nights. We did a 2-week stay, and it was nowhere near that much money. We did a 2-week stay in January. It was nowhere near that much. It didn't cost anywhere near that much. So, you know, when most British people can go to Disney World or Disneyland, they're paying through the roof to go to these places, including when Disneyland Paris, because Disneyland Paris, and it's the British school holidays when the schools are out. So when the schools are out for summer, they're out for Easter, they're out for February, they're out for May, they're out for October, they're out for Christmas. The prices are stupidly high. I can't warrant it. I can't. Okay, so travel over to France from here is actually quite cheap. Well, I say it's quite cheap. It depends how you do it. I know a lot of cheap ways. And I'm always looking for the cheapest way. I'm always looking for the way that's going to cost me the least amount of money. If flying is going to cost me the least amount of money, I will fly. If train is going to cost me the least amount of money, I will use the train. I try to use the train because there is a train station at Ashford International, which is right near where the show winters. So £1,000 about 12 euros. No way I could do that. Exactly. That's roughly, like, that was a moderate resort. No, it wasn't. It was Art of Animation, so it was a value resort in a Little Mermaid room, with a direct flight from London and back when the schools were out, and that was in the winter, so that was February. £9,000. So if I was to have to pay that much and then find out, oh, but if you want to ride Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin, it's $15 per person. I'm sorry, what? So I have to pay, I've paid £9,000 to come over here, and now you're telling me that I have to pay $30 to get on one ride? No, it's not happening. We wouldn't get on any rides. We wouldn't do it because the queues at Disney World are way too big. I honestly, guys, I look at the amount of people that are currently going into the parks over there. I know plenty of people that live stream from the parks. I'm not watching it because it's giving me major anxiety attacks seeing that many people in the parks, especially when we're still in a pandemic, and I'm like, it was bad enough when there was no pandemic. Now there is a pandemic, and it's even worse. It's just really anxiety inducing. So having the fast pass system there, it was a lifesaver. The only ride, me and Jay had a fast pass for Peter Pan's flight. On the night that we got there, we literally got off the plane, onto the Magical Express, went to the hotel, dumped the bags in the hotel room, and hot-footed it into Magic Kingdom. We had fast passes for Mine Train, Peter Pan's flight, and there was one more. Jay, what was the other ride we went on that night? I can't remember. But Peter Pan's flight. Oh, we went on the Little Mermaid that night. That was your first ride there. Peter Pan's flight. The fast pass queue was at 125 minutes long. fast pass for a reason. So that was the only ride we didn't do. Like, it was closed for refurbishment from the next day, so we didn't get like a fast pass for that again. We had to miss it because the fast pass queue was 2 hours long. Like, the main queue was like 190 minutes long, I think it was, on this day, and the fast pass queue was 125 minutes long. Like, no. So we skipped Peter Pan's flight. But yeah, my point is, if we got over there and found out we had to pay for that, and then you're just going to be stood in a queue for 2 hours anyway? Like, no, of course I'm not doing it. And like, $15 for Peter Pan's flight per person? No, not doing it. Just to ride a flying boat? No. It's not that good of a ride to start off with. I'm sorry, guys. I know I'm on a rant, and I know that people love Peter Pan's flight, but let's face it, it's not the best ride there. It's far from the best ride there. Why people get so... I do not understand why people get so hyped up about riding a flying boat. If it was Peter Pan Goes Wrong, the ride, I'd queue up. Are you going, Jay? Hang on, Ozzy, can I say bye-bye to JJ, because he's going. JJ's going. Say bye-bye to Jay. Bye, Jay. Bye, Jay. Bye, Jay. Bye, Jay. Little belly wobble. Belly wobble doggy. Belly wobble doggy. His belly wobbling. Jay, if you're still here, da 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 da. Da, da, da. Da, 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 da. Yes, we have still been listening to it all day, Jay. We still listen to it. By the way, that song I just sang, that's actually, there's a ride at Legoland in the UK called Haunted House Monster Party. It's exactly the same. The theming's not the same, but the ride itself is exactly the same as Hex at Alton Towers. But it's got such an awesome soundtrack. The one at Alton Towers, Hex, is made to be scary, and it's based on a true story. Oh, sorry, Miriam, it was you. I'm so sorry. I didn't actually see that comment. Bye, Miriam. Yeah, it's the theming. Like, Hex's version is based on a true story, which is very, very scary, whereas the Legoland version is just a vampire having a party. So we've been singing that all. I've been singing it the entire time. Jay, I nearly set it as my alarm. I was very tempted last night when I went to bed to set it as my alarm. But no, getting back on track. It's such a stupid idea. Like, why are we doing it? Just why? No, I would not pay to get on a flying boat. I've already paid to get into the park. I'm not paying to get on a flying boat. No, I am not paying to get on a runaway train. I've already paid into the park. I'm not paying to get on a train that's on its own island and goes into the river, and because Big Thunder Mountain over here literally does go through the river. I'm not doing it. I'm not paying extra to shoot a little toy gun. Like, someone pointed this out. Their entire family loves Space Ranger. It's called Laser Blast. Buzz Lightyear Laser Blast in Disneyland Paris. Their entire family loves it. But it's now cheaper. And the only reason they love it is because they're shooting something. Now they may as well pay to go to the Frontierland shooting gallery. If they want to shoot some guns, it's a lot cheaper. If that's all you're interested in that ride for, just go to Thunder Mesa. Same thing, just you're not on a ride. Definitely wouldn't pay to get on Indiana Jones. Would I pay for it if Indiana Jones still went backwards? Yes, actually I would. But Indiana Jones hasn't gone backwards since late 2004, I believe. I can't remember. Would I pay for it? Pay it for? Is there any ride I would pay it for? Very possibly Hyperspace Mountain. No, I wouldn't, because single ride. No, I wouldn't pay for it on Hyperspace. No, I wouldn't pay it. I wouldn't pay it. Crush. No. Actually, yeah, if Crush had it, I would pay for it once and get it over and done with, and then never do it again. So yeah, I'm going to close this up in a second because I've really, really ranted on and on and on about this because I'm so against it. I'm just so against it. You would pay it for? I would not pay to do nothing, Jaden. Actually, to be fair, that's pretty much what I do. Why are you apologising? Why are you apologising, Rob? I hope so. I hope it changes too. I hope we go back to the old fast passes. I hope Crush finally gets a fast pass line. I really want them to do away with the single rider on Crush and turn that into a fast pass lane. It needs it. It really needs. I know people say fast pass slows down the queue, but I'm speaking from my experience as somebody who's not good with queues and as somebody who has worked at parks. Like Alton Towers, when I was on the rides at Alton Towers, some rides, like a free fast pass system would have really helped. The reason the queues were so long was because there was no free fast pass system. The fast pass queue lanes were constantly empty because people didn't want to pay for it. To get back to work, but still listening. Appreciate your views on this as someone would visit on the impact. Yeah, it would really, really, I hope the pay first passes. I hope it's a huge failure, Kate. I really do. I do not want this to succeed. I want them to see that this is not going to work and that they were wrong. And yeah, I want them to do away with it as quick as possible. I know the Europeans are very angry about it, as are we. So on the continent, I know they're angry. I know they're angry on the island, on like this mainland here, the UK. I know we're all angry. They're all angry. By the sounds of it, you guys in the States are angry because this is, like I said, a foreshadowing of what's to come for you guys. Because Disneyland Paris is run by the same people that run the two parks in the States. So, which is why all the merchandise at Disneyland Paris is the same as what's over in the States. So, I just, like, I know you guys, a lot of you guys over there, like, oh, I hope Fast Pass doesn't come back. I hope we can just stick to this. Trust me, the only reason the queues were moving quicker without Fast Pass over there was because of the mega reduced capacity. It's not going to stay that way. Pretty soon the queue lines are going to go up stupid queue times again, and they'll bring in Premier Access. I can see them doing it. We've got to rebel against it. I've never said rebel against Disney before. We've got to rebel against Disney. There's got to be a complete boycott of this because I think, But then in saying that, Disney have listened to Disneyland Paris fans before because when they reopened Phantom Manor at Disneyland Paris, they had in the ballroom scene, they had taken away Phantom Manor's soundtrack and they had put in Haunted Mansion's soundtrack, and the complete and utter uproar that it caused was insane. And literally within a day, Disney went, and that's not gone down well, we'll put the old soundtrack back in. So we now have Phantom Manners music back, which is what everybody wanted. So Disney have listened to the fans in Paris before because we kicked off enough. So fingers crossed that enough people will kick off about this and Disney will go, this isn't working, we need to rethink this. And do I think free fast passes will come back? No, but hopefully I want free fast passes back. It's not going to happen, so hopefully we'll get a one price fits all. Or they'll do something along the lines of included in your park tickets, here's 3 or 4 Premier Access passes. That would just make it so much better. That would alleviate things. Anyway, I've ranted on and on and on about this. I've been online for an hour, so I'm going to close off this stream. It's been great to be back, guys. Thank you so much for putting up with my hour-long rant about Premier Access and why I think this is the worst idea that Chapek could ever have come up with. I blame him completely. I don't blame anybody at Disneyland Paris for this. I blame Chapek, because we all know the decision ultimately lies with him. So anyway, thank you so much for joining. Ozzy, you got to say bye-bye. You got to say bye-bye. You got to say bye-bye. And you do your bye-bye dance. You do your bye-bye dance. You do your bye-bye dance. With your wiggle in the belly. Wiggle in the belly. There we go. You've done your bye-bye dance. I don't know why I Okay, right. Guys, I'm going to go. Thank you so much for joining. Probably will be back next week. There is more Warwick Castle footage coming up. Tomorrow I'm posting my next Warwick Castle video. So we've had War of the Roses, which was a live stream. We've had the Falconer's Quest. Tomorrow you're going to see the stupidest idea I've ever had. Jay knows what the stupidest idea I've ever had is because I forced him to come along with me. So that's coming up tomorrow. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. I'm going to go. I'm going to get Ozzy out for that one last time and then I'm going to get to bed. So thank you so much for joining and I'll see you guys tomorrow for the Warwick Castle video and I'll see you guys next week for another live stream. Bye bye.